Welcome back, man. It's the Hardwood Report here, first thing in the morning, fresh up, talking basketball. Never going to forget you guys. It's been a while. Some things have happened in NBA, good, bad, but we're gonna dig into all that. So without further ado, let's talk to the boys, see what they've been up to. Chris, how you been since we last spoke, man?
I've been blessed, bro. This week I've been playing Steph Curry in fantasy. He's been dropping 40 points a game on me, plus 50% from the field, plus 45% from three. Steph Curry is in a zone, bro. It's in a zone when one of those where I know Dame Dollar has times like these where he'll go on like a binge, where he goes on like a 50-point binge, but it's not like this one still. And every time I talk about Steph Curry, he tells me to just ease up still. So I'm gonna give him his love.
Yeah, too bad I can't make the damn playoffs with Steph Curry on my team. It's tragic. But Kev, how you been?
It's a shame.
Real shit. Still,
It's a
yo.
shame.
On the other side of that, last night I watched Andrew Wiggins call ISO every time he saw Jabari Parker. Like, fam, we know you're better still. That man's out the league, and you're still getting a check. Like it's okay. It's nothing to prove no more. Still,
Man, say yo, clear out, clear out.
yeah. It's guys are calling ISO. Like yo,
Jabari was
that was
hooping
fine.
though. He had like 13 and 14 minutes.
That's the crazy thing. Like in the NBA, you can go from out the league to playing crunch time minutes. Still, it's a very weird place.
Well, speaking of that, let's dig into it because the NBA is a weird place, especially how they decided to handle this particular season. Granted, COVID has kind of forced their hand in terms of how the scheduling of the season would normally go, but there's a lot of gripes and concerns regarding the condensed schedule and a potential correlation with all the injuries that have been going on as of late. So, um, I guess my question to you is, for one, how do you feel about the condensed schedule? And two, do you think there's any relationship between the amount of injuries we're seeing or the nature of the injuries that we're seeing and the fact that they didn't get the typical amount of rest in the off season that they would in a normal season? What do you think, Chris?
There has to be a correlation. It only makes sense. Um, because when you look at the schedule, these guys are legitimately playing every other day. And yes, you may get a spell when you do get 2 days off in a row, but then that follows and precedes itself with 3 games in 4 nights right after that 2 day break. You know what I'm saying? So like it's clear that they're getting worked. They're definitely getting worked, but at the same time, it's like how much can I sympathize with the players? Because I would first have to have the discussion on how much people wanted to sacrifice rest or the perceived rest for a paycheck. Because it's no secret. These guys get paid per game. So how much of them wanted the maximum amount of games versus how much of them wanted, say, a 60 game season, like how we had back in the lockout when we started in December. Like we started basically the same amount of time. The only difference is in this instance, they added like 14 games on top of that, fam. So, but again, how much people wanted that versus how much people would rather the rest. I would have to have that question before I place any type of judgment on the commissioner. But it's no secret, bro. We've seen ACL tears like mad, fam. Like mad. People are hobbling all around the league. Every time a man goes down, my heart drops because I'm like, oh no, fam. Like the TikTok meme, fam. I'm like, I can't have it. But I just hope people make it to the playoffs and it doesn't contaminate the playoffs to a certain degree because you already lost Jamal Murray and we know how important he is in playoff time for that Denver team. So I just hope nothing else happens until then.
I
What do you think,
think
Kev?
I think I don't know. It's tough because I'm not a man that likes to evaluate decisions based on the outcome. I think proper decision making comes from the information that you had at the time, right? So let's go back to November. You knew you had to get as many games as possible to please the owners, also to please the players who want to get paid, as Chris said. You also have a limited amount of time because at some point, the idea is you're going to get back to the regular scheduling where the league starts in October, November, right? So what do? You start early. You get as many games in as possible. They cut the schedule by 10 games. What you had some people complaining about the start time. Mans wanted to start after MLK Day, which is about the second week of January instead of around Christmas. I never really heard a a difference in the games that were going to be played. So again, what do you want? This is going to happen when players are used to playing more than normal, and you can't get around it. Like it's unfortunate, and you can only hope that it slows down or it gets better. Or at this point, teams are going to have to rest players because they can't afford to. The worst thing that could happen is if you're a team like the Jazz, which we saw with Donovan Mitchell, having your best season, right, where you're looking like you could be a contender, and you just go down. An important piece just goes missing, and now everything you worked for 72 games in the span of 6 5 6 months is gone down the drain. So I think we're going to see a lot of rest going forward, and man, just gotta hope and pray we make it there still, because we lost Donovan Mitchell, Braun's been hurt, AD's been hurt. Like it's the list is starting to pile up. Jamal Murray's gone. We lost James Harden, KD for an extended period of time with hamstring. I'm just seeing bare hamstring all around, hamstring all around, and that's clearly fatigue. Like that's the difference between, um, those muscle injuries. So I don't know. It's unfortunate, but again, like this was foreseeable. Like this was the the likely outcome, and I think Adam Silver was okay with that.
I think for me, the one thing is like I just didn't know what the alternative would have been, right? Like, okay, we understand that like for one, the 82 game schedule has been criticized for the past couple years anyway. They wanted to reduce that to
But they want the
I
same
don't know
amount of
to
pay.
what number. Yeah, but they wanted the same amount of pay, and it just doesn't work like that. Like it's not. It just doesn't make sense from an economic standpoint, or financial standpoint. Okay, granted, given the circumstances, they shortened the season to 72 games. And players want to say, "Oh, I didn't get enough notice to prep myself accordingly, and we started a little earlier than expected." But what were you expecting, right? Like, I just don't understand how a player whose job is to be an athlete is going to come and say that 2 weeks is going to make the difference between you being ready and not ready. To me, that just doesn't sound logical, right? Like, it's either you're ready or you're not ready, right? Point blank, period. Secondly, as it relates to the injuries, I do think there's a strong correlation or relationship between the two because, again, we're dealing with a lot of basketball in a short amount of time. However, I do think some of these teams are being cautious, right? Like I think Braun could have came back. I think AD could have came back. I think Kevin Durant could have
Nah,
came back, right? I definitely think they could have came back earlier than what they're slated to come back or their return date would have been. But again, the team is being overly cautious because it is a lot of basketball in a short period of time, right? Guys like Donovan Mitchell, even him, MRIs came back clean. I think he's missing more games just to be cautious. I don't think that these teams are necessarily thinking that, oh, actually, no, maybe they are thinking that, I don't want to risk a major injury by sending this guy back out too early. But again, I do think they are holding players out because they want to preserve them for the playoffs, right? And we're getting to that point in the season where if it was a regular season, people would have been doing that anyway. That's how I see it.
I don't know still because at the end of the day, bro, it's easy to say that Mans would have played, but we already know the like. I don't feel like Mans would have played. I don't feel that because even guys like Kevin Durant, like we know he is good. He's going to be overly cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like he's coming off of the Achilles, so he has to be overly cautious. A sprained ankle, Donovan Mitchell. Yes, the MRI came back clean, but it's still a sprained ankle. No, like I saw his ankle
they
twist. Like I
they
saw
said there
it.
was no structural damage. I don't know if that means that it was clean still. I don't like. I genuinely don't know if that
Yeah,
means.
so maybe it wasn't as bad or as detrimental as he was leading on because that nigga was on the floor moving like he tore his Achilles, no cap.
We're in the
But
moment. You have
so
to give
maybe
any man a saving grace. An injury's an injury.
listen, listen. Jamal Murray actually tore his ACL and he went
But
out
yo, the pain is different,
saying
bro.
"fuck
Like
the chair." This guy is going out moving like he needs a whole
Okay, and
the
stretcher,
pain is
fam.
KD tore his
different, bro.
Achilles and looked like he got kicked.
The pain is different, fam. Like you can't compare the two. Still, an injury that has you out for a year might not hurt as much as one that has you out for 2 months at that time when it happens. We see man's hoop on the torn Achilles. We see man's hoop on a sprained ankle. Like you can't really compare the two like that. It's not fair.
I hear you still, but I don't know. He was he was moving detrimental on the ground still. But in any event, man, when it comes down to the injuries, like you're gonna have them, but at the same point, it's like how much can you how much can you curtail? For me, I'm just saying when it comes to like next season and they go back or they have the discussion, because I'm sure they're going to have the discussion on whether or not to go back to 82 games. And when I'm looking at man say okay, but the money, say the league is making more because a new TV deal is about to hit in, right? So if the TV deal money raises the pot, wouldn't they then be able to then give up the 82 games and still get the money
So the reality of this,
by playing 72 with the new TV
no,
deal?
because the reality of the situation is this: when you have the collective bargaining agreement between two, they negotiate the splits, right? So yes, the new TV money is coming in, but again, they still have a base agreement that has to be honored. When they renegotiate the CBA, then they can kind of barter and say, okay, we want to reduce schedule, but then it'd be in the best interest of the owners to say, okay, yeah, if you want to reduce schedule, then understand that certain things are going to have to get cut. Your salaries might get cut by a certain percentage. It might not be 10%. It might be 4, 3, 2, whatever the percentage is, but you're going to have to take some losses. And again, that's why I keep saying these players love to vocalize their concerns, but I don't think they understand financially what that means, right? Like the league has been able to grow so far because of things like these. We've kept 82 games. We keep the TV deals. We're entertaining, right? There's other leagues out there that struggle, right, with these things. So the fact that the NBA is in a position where they are right now, I think players need to sit down and really reflect and understand what they're wanting for and what they're asking for, because it could come back to bite them when the new CBA gets negotiated.
Fam, that sounds good from a corporate perspective. But at the same time, I'm sure if you ask the players, they're going to say that we are big because we are who we are,
But
fam,
yo,
at the end of the
that's the
day.
thing that Maz don't understand. The players play the corporate side too. Like Maz move like these guys are just players.
Yeah, but
Individually they don't, but as a collective, as an NBA
as a
PA,
collective,
they
yeah.
do play that side. So it's not, you can't just say as a player we are who we are. Nah, you're a product. Sad as it is, you are a product. Collectively, you are a product. So you have to manage that, and you have to negotiate. Still, like there's no cuts without and only one man takes a hit. Bro. Life doesn't work that way. And the owners, imagine you're an owner and you're the one taking the L. Are you crazy?
But are they real? But that's what I'm saying. Like, are they taking the L though? Like, or
AL,
yes, they're taking
AL
an
is what I'm
L, but
saying.
like, are
If this
or like any
right,
type
that's
of
what I'm
L?
saying. Like if I'm the
All
owner, I'll share the L's, but in no way am I burdening the L. What type of sense does that make? I own this team.
right.
No, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Like I'm telling you, it's not. It's going to be a hard decision to. It's going to be a hard discussion to have when these guys are talking about I want to make 45, 50, 60 million dollar contracts guaranteed, and you're not willing to sacrifice anything. It just doesn't make sense because guys in football are begging for guaranteed contracts. The WNBA is begging
That's
to not get a
completely
second
different
job
though.
in the
Like
summer.
you can't even compare the other
But
sports
the thing
though.
about
Like
it,
you
the
can't.
reality is,
There's no way to
but
compare the
Chris, the
other
reality
sports.
is the NFL makes way more money than the NBA, and granted, the rosters are larger. If they really wanted to, they could increase the amount of contracts that are guaranteed, but they don't. They don't. Football, you can make a Pro Bowl 1 year and they'll
Yeah,
cut you the
because
next year to
that's
save $1.
that's um, that's the play. That's the player's fault. The players
Okay,
aren't
and that's what I'm
serious.
saying. That's why
Nah,
we
I
need
don't
to
think.
understand that as players, we have to be very understanding of where you are, because there's people doing a lot worse than you.
Nah, it doesn't
Nah,
matter
the
though. That
players
doesn't
aren't
matter
serious.
still. A next man's situation in the next league is irrelevant. But what I will say in terms of the NFL, I don't think it's the players' fault. I think it's literally just the structure of the league. The shield is more important than any individual player. So
Yeah, but that's the player's
no, they're
fault.
just they wear a helmet. What are the players supposed to do? What are the players supposed to do?
The players just went to the table to negotiate another collective bargaining agreement, and they leave shit in like the franchise tag. They leave shit in like you're able to cut me after one
But
year, bro.
again,
They that
but yo,
they're doing
but you
that,
say it as if they can just say like they're not trying. Why would I?
fam. In baseball, when baseball wants to get shit done, those niggas ain't playing. Like
Again,
the baseball mans will strike and
but those
not
men have
play.
guaranteed funds.
Period.
Exactly.
Fam, but you gotta sacrifice something if you're
Yeah, but
serious.
yo, that's easy to say when it's the Mills still. Like that's easy to say.
But so how serious are you?
Nah,
That's
nah,
what
nah.
I'm saying.
Yo,
It's
I
their
just think it's a
fault, fam. They're
structure
not
still. Because
serious
yo, the
enough.
NFL doesn't need any single one player. You ever heard the NFL say what's gonna happen when Tom Brady retires? As the NBA says what happens when Braun retires, or NBA fans? We genuinely don't know what this league
Yeah,
looks like.
that's the makeup of the teams. That's the makeup of
That's
the
what I'm
leagues.
saying, and
Still,
that
yeah.
structure that's set up by the NFL. That's the difference. You do not need any single man. The man's not even identifiable. He wears a helmet. That's a
True.
no name.
Mans are bucking the system though. Shout out to Russell Wilson telling the man to yo trade me or or do this.
You're like,
But
Typically,
this is a ball podcast still, so we can hop off that pod.
so yo, I guess the next thing we can talk about is whether or not you guys are in favor of the playing game. I'll start. I think last year I was in favor of the playing game because it was just a new dynamic that was introduced. But like I don't think it was necessary. Like I don't think it was necessary for this year, especially considering that you know that you're gonna have a condensed season. COVID was gonna be a factor. There's a lot of things going on. I just didn't think this was the best time to implement a new element into the game, for lack of a better word. You could have left that out for when things get back to normal and slowly introduce it, right? Because now people are getting pissed off. Like I know Mark Cuban came on and said, like, if I'm in the seventh seed, why can't I just mind my business? Why'd I have to worry about a playing game, So, but granted, he's saying that probably because his team is in the
Win a
seventh.
game.
It's not that simple though.
yeah,
It's not that simple.
yeah. All right,
Win a
man.
game.
Just follow me on this one, right? So you grind 72 games, and establish yourself as a seventh seed per se. Let's say you're 10 games out the into the team in ninth is 10 games behind you, so you're firmly entrenched in that playoff seed, right? Now, if you lose 2 games, your season's over. But had you lost those 2 games, had you lost 5 regular season games, you still would have been in the playoffs, right? It's unfair, but you knew the rules. Win the games. It's not man didn't just throw this wrinkle in game 60. Last year, it's a different story because when did they throw it in? Like game what? Around game 60, when they came back from the bubble, Mans had already played 50 something odd games, and he said, "All right, play in this playing tournament." Nah, you knew the rules going in. Win games. It's that simple. You know the
Fam,
rules.
they've been discussing it for so long
You
now.
know,
It's not even
nah,
like it just got introduced last year
nah, nah,
either. Like man's been knowing
But
about
it's
this.
still. I don't think that makes a difference. But my very the way I look back at it is unfair. But you knew the rules. You're playing the game. You're playing an unfair game. So now win. It's that simple. Because if Mark Cuban was in 10th, we wouldn't hear him right now. I promise you that.
You wouldn't.
So
And
so
that's
win the
fam,
game.
that's my issue. That's my issue because when the season started, and I remember when this year started, and they were talking about the playing tournament every single game. Some new things that's happening around the league. The playing tournament. I wasn't hearing anything, fam. I wasn't hearing any qualms, bro. You know why? Because all mans at that time were optimistic, saying that either we're going to be able to have the playing tournament, or we're going to be above the slots of the
No one
playing
taught
tournament.
himself as a
We're going
loser.
to be
So
better than the playing tournament. I ain't hearing no qualms. Now we're approaching the end of the year, and I'm hearing Luca talking about I don't want to play in no playing tournament. Nigga, then you should have been better, fam. Why are you below the
be better. You
Trailblazers then?
still have a chance to
Why?
be better.
Why are you below the Trailblazers, fam? You're supposed to be MVP contender this year. Why is that? Draymond's talking about he doesn't care about no playing tournament. Well, your bum ass is gonna be in there because you can't provide no help, fam. You're not providing Steph Curry with no help, fam. Like I don't understand these guys. I just don't understand it. Before mans like Draymond Green are complimentary of the playing tournament because without it, he would have no chance of making
Yo,
the
I rate that though
playoffs.
because at least that's
Listen
objective.
to
At
him.
least that's an objective opinion. So I rate that personally. If it
Nah,
benefits you and
nah.
you can still say, "Yo, this is stupid," I can rate that. As opposed to a man like Luca um, who isn't benefiting and then saying it's stupid. For me, I personally think the playing tournament is stupid. Don't get me wrong. This shit is dumb. The idea that 72 games can get wiped out by 1 game or 2 games, I find it stupid. Regardless of your positioning, because last year in the playing tournament for the bubble, you have to be within a certain range of games to qualify.
7 games.
Right? This year it doesn't matter, and that's foolishness. So
That's my only issue
that's why I
with it
think
Yeah,
it's
too.
same.
My only issue is that my only issue is that for no two issues that the length of playing and the fact that 7 has to play 8, and then the loser of that now has to go and play another game where the ninth place team, if the ninth place team beats the 10th place team, the ninth place team could be pretty good, fam. And now me as a 7th team, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I see where it's unfair. Because for example, if Dallas is in 7th, Dallas loses against whoever is in 8th, and now they have to go play Steph Curry, and Steph Curry goes for 50, and now Dallas is going home. That is crazy. That's honestly crazy.
Yeah, I think they should introduce the numbers. Like, I think there should be a specific amount of games that if you're over it or the team behind you is behind by a certain amount of games, you should just leave me alone. Like, I understand it for the East because the East is mumble jumbled from like 4 to 10. Like, I understand where it comes into play there because it can really be exciting. But a team in like Dallas that could be all 8 games ahead of the Spurs in 9th or 10th, why the hell are you guys bothering me? Like, I did my job. I did my work. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But are they that far ahead right now?
Let me
Yo,
pull it up.
Dallas is well in the playoffs still. Well, I'm not. I'll let
Let
Robs
me
look it up,
search
but
it.
Dallas is winning. So for me, it's just like, yo, if I work 72, I can't be defined by 2. But to Chris, what you're saying, I actually like that format still. I think I like it better than the last one because 8 gets a chance to move up to 7, and 9 and 10 get a chance to move in. 7th has to lose twice, and you're gonna have home court advantage in both games, right? So I think that's important.
Yeah, home court in
Yeah,
both
so it's
They're
games.
like
they're they're close though. They're
I
close.
don't mind it. Like I don't mind.
You're not far ahead like that still.
I don't mind that the format of the plan. I just don't think it's fair. So I think it's unfair without looking at any sort of games, like any sort of record. Like the record doesn't matter. But to be fair, again, to be the 10th seed to win 2 games isn't easy, right?
True.
But if say a man like Luka gets injured, all of a sudden your playoff hopes are dead off of those 2 games. To be
Yeah, but
to
they would
be
have
fair,
been
he
dead
would have been
anyways.
dead in the playoffs anyways if he was injured. But
Yeah, like they would have
but
been dead
obviously
anyways
making the
still.
playoffs is a big difference from not making the playoffs for a lot of teams still. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have no doubt it will be entertaining. We know that for sure because they basically guaranteed where there's going to be a game that someone is playing to get into the playoffs. It's not like you're going to get a chance. Someone is. One of those teams outside are going to get a chance. So it's definitely going to be entertaining. It's just not fair. But again, if I look at the teams, you knew what it was when you signed up.
True.
Right now, Dallas is only 3 games ahead of 11 or of 10th
Oh,
right
that's
now.
late then.
So that's
Yeah, that's okay.
that
That's within
you
range.
deserve to be in the
That's
playoffs.
within.
You deserve to be in the play-in. I
That's
mean,
within range.
like you set yourself up to be there still. And I'm looking at thing like there's no reason why Portland is ahead of you. Like I just don't get
Portland's
it.
a better
I
team
don't
though.
get
Let's
it.
be honest, man. Like
No,
Portland is a
no.
better team, man. Come on. Dallas is going out there with no name talent.
Yo,
Like 3 of their
Are they?
starters are complete garbage. Are like 7th, 8th mans on any other team.
bro, Maxi
Are
Kleber
they
is not
really?
getting minutes on any NBA roster. I promise you.
Maxi Kleber plays defense, and he hits
What about
shots.
Dorian Finney-Smith?
He's getting playing time. Dorian Finney-Smith is an engine. He's a workhorse. He's just a three to clog up the minutes. Fam, that's valuable. Just a three that's not going to hurt you. Just to play
Is
minutes,
that
play thirty
benefiting you
plus
though?
minutes a night.
That's the question.
It's not hurting
But that's
you.
not helping you either. And
It's not
Luka needs
hurting you
help.
either. Fam, if it's not hurting you, it's
Nah, it's
helping
definitely not help.
because to just slot a three in, to just go out there and not make mistakes,
Nah,
play hard defense, grab
nah.
boards, hit a 1, 2,
So
3.
Tony
Come on,
Snell is
bro.
helping you
Don't
then. That's what you're
disrespect.
telling me.
Don't
That sounds like Tony Snell. If,
you go look up Tony Snell's numbers and tell me if they match up with Dorian
fam, at
Finney-Smith
any point
in any
in
respect.
Tony
Like,
Snell's career, that's
just
exactly what he
behave
was
yourself.
doing.
Fam. Come on, relax. What are you talking about?
What are
What are you
you
talking
talking
about?
about?
Jokes aside, Tony Snell is nothing. Tony Snell isn't close to
You
what
just
Dorian
told me a
Finney-Smith
man
is
that
doing.
can
Bro.
stand at the three
All
and
jokes
soak up
aside,
minutes is valuable. Tony Snell went out there for 30 minutes and didn't
I
put
said
up
a
those
man that's
stats.
out there who's not hurting you, who is out there not hurting you, grabbing boards, playing defense, hitting his occasional shots. I'm pretty sure Dorian might be hitting like 3 pointers a
Let me pull this
game.
up right now. Let me talk.
Like, what are we doing
I
right
didn't know
now?
mans were caping for Dorian Finney-Smith.
Fam, I'm not caping, but I'm telling you, a man that's not hurting you is a man that is
Fam, a
ultimately
man that's
helping
not
you.
hurting
That's
you
just fact.
is Mikal Bridges. That's actually helping you as well. That's the difference. He doesn't commit a turnover a game and he doesn't shoot bad from anywhere on the floor. That's helping you and not hurting you at the same time. You just being out there for cardio is not helping anybody.
But he's not out there for cardio. He's at 1.8 threes a game. Like, what are we talking about?
Fam, that's blessed. That's cool. I'm not caping
All
for
right, I know it's
I'm not caping
I
for
know
The
it's
man's out
blessed.
there working up
I
his
know
sweat
it's blessed.
still.
Fam, I know it's blessed. You don't have to tell me it's blessed. I know it's
9 and
blessed.
6 is blessed,
Working up his
alright?
sweat.
I know it's blessed, fam. You don't have to tell me that. I know it.
They're working
Alright,
up
yo.
his sweat.
Just hide the S on your chest, fam. Yo, yo. Yeah, that definitely ain't it. But yeah, I get what you guys are saying. Still, there should still be a games limit or a games margin that they should have implemented to prevent teams that are well entrenched in the playoffs from having to deal with this nonsense. But Dallas is definitely not that position. So if I was Luka, you just better pull up your pants because it's time to actually show up. There's nothing more, nothing less.
I don't fuck with mans that
I think
That's all it
don't
comes down
rate
to.
it when
Still.
when it affects them. Still, I fuck with mans that'll come out and say, "Yo, this is stupid," whether or not it benefits me. Still, if you're a man that's being slighted by it and then you want to complain, I don't really hear you. Because if you were in 10th, way different tune.
facts, facts. But it's about time for us to take our first break. We're gonna come back and get into a popular discussion. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back, man. So we're gonna get into a popular discussion right now. So basically, so the past couple of years, there's been a discussion. People are basically saying like the big man's dead. More specifically, the center position is dead. But then this year, you could arguably say that the top two MVP candidates are Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Um, so like the question raises: are centers back? Like, what do people think about centers? But more specifically, like I guess the question I want to pose to you guys, like now, if you're building a team, would you pick a ball guard or a guard, a wing or a big to start your team off? I'll shoot to you, Kev. Who are you starting with?
Easy answer is wings. Still, one season doesn't define shit for me because who's winning these championships? Who are the favorites this year? It's not the Nuggets, and it's not the Sixers. Although they're contenders, they're definitely not the favorites by any means. So, favorites is a team with Kevin Durant and LeBron James and or Kawhi Leonard. Still, it's just that simple. So until that changes, I'm cool. I think I think the better discussion would be the big man that looks like Joel Embiid. Because I think Jokic is a completely different animal, and obviously he'll never die if you can hit threes, pass the ball as good as a guard, post man's up, literally do everything on the court. That could never die. I think the better question is a man like Embiid who is legit back to the basket, like a Shaq, like a Hakeem, maybe like a Patrick Ewing, those type of men. I think that's a good question. But if we're honest, he's the only one, right? So I don't know. I think for me, Wing, 100%, no question. They're the only ones winning championships right now, and
I wouldn't
I
even
don't.
say that Embiid is like a in those molds only because like he shoots the ball bare. Like he shoots bare mid range jump
So did
shots
Hakeem
a
still. So did
game,
Hakeem.
but he also will go out and shoot his fair share of 3-pointers as well.
Yeah, but I think that's just like the modern aspect of it. But I'm talking about like a true back to the back because I don't think Jokic and Embiid are comparable, other than the fact that they're centers.
I think Embiid and Anthony Davis are more similar.
Nah, cause I see Anthony Davis's face up.
Yeah, he's a
More so
face up
than me
force.
still.
So
But
But
yo, but
so
yeah,
is Embiid, fam.
but
Like Embiid faces up
not.
bare when he's in the post.
But yo, I feel like Embiid is like Hakeem, where he's catching that mid post. He's gonna face you up. He can look to shoot it. He can put his back to the basket, hook shot, drop step. Like he's getting to the line. I think AD and Embiid are definitely more comparable than Jokic and Embiid, but I still don't even think that's like a good comparison. I think Embiid's like alone in one of those guys that are literally just going to demand post touch with his back to the basket. Like, let's be real. As much as we love Anthony Davis, in the post, like he's not that effective. Like he's good, but he's not that effective. He gets his buckets a variety of ways: lobs, putbacks, running the floor. Like way more variety than a guy like Embiid. So I don't know. It's tough. He's by himself, and I don't think Embiid can win a championship right now. Honestly, like I don't think. Because I think rubber meets the road. He can't get the bucket, and I think that's the issue that's I've seen with these guys come playoff time.
That was triggering, but I'm gonna go past that. But in terms of like the question, that bigs are definitely back, and you can see them in all shapes, sizes, and flavors right now. Even down to a guy like Bam Adebayo, who is a big. He's not the biggest of bigs, but he's still a big. And what he does, he's in that type of Jokic type style. The only difference is that he's way more athletic than Jokic. So to me, they're definitely back. Whether or not I want to start my team with one of them, it depends on the type of big that I have. Jokic, obviously, you can start a team with him because you basically don't need a point guard when you have a Jokic. You need two shooting guards, right? But then also guys like Anthony Davis, Embiid, because of what they do on the defensive end, coupled with the fact that they can go out there and get you 30 a night, is also something where I'm saying, yeah, I would build my team around them as well. In terms of what's winning championships, yeah, the wings are still winning championships, but I feel like it's not necessarily the wings, it's the big playmakers, like the players that are 6'6" plus, that can score the ball, that can shoot the ball, and that can pass the ball. Guys like that's why I'm so big on a guy like Ball. Guys like Luca, James Harden kind of fits in that mold, 6'5", but like those type of players are the ones that's winning championships that I would want to build around. But definitely, I don't think the center's too far behind that, because centers nowadays, bro, like they're so multi-talented. They do so much different things on the floor that I'm like, if I have to do it, I'm not gonna cry over it.
I mean, like, I'm taking a wing. And the reason why I'm taking a wing is because I feel like that's the most effective position. Like, you can get the most from that position. You're a Swiss Army knife. You can score, defend, do whatever you need to do. Like, you look at some of these things that we ask these wings to do, and it's actually ridiculous. Like, we ask them to score, we ask them to play make, we ask them to defend the best man on the other team, arguably, depending on what team they're playing, and also be the leader. Rebound. You know what I mean? They have to literally do it all. And if it's anything short of that, then we start to say, oh, you're not one of those guys. That's why it's hard for guys like Tatum to, claim the crown. Because look how Tatum's playing, but yet he's still not considered to be like a premier wing, right? Yet, right? So I think I would definitely take a wing just because of the versatility that they bring. But then I'm starting to realize that, like, the importance of a guard may not be that much. Like, if you can get a competent guard to pair with a wing, that's good enough. So I'd rather go with the big second, kind of going off of what Chris said. Like I don't know.
The problem is with the guards is that it's too much of them.
But see, the thing is, it could be too much of them. But even if you're better than most, I just don't know what I'm gonna get from you. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just find that, like, with guards outside of like Damian Lillard, like, you could hit a slump and it's gonna hurt the team a lot more than if like a wing hits a slump or a big hits a slump. Because even if a big hits a slump, he's more than likely still playing defense, ideally. Right? A wing is still going out there doing that. If the guard's not going out there and scoring the ball, what are you really doing? You know what I mean? Like,
unless you're a Chris Paul or you're a 2014 John Wall type of shit. Like,
but even those guys haven't won shit, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yo, for me, as Rob said, that's what I'm saying. As Rob said, right? Mans are looking at wings to do everything. As much flack as we give a man like Trae Young, at what point have we complained that he's not getting on the glass? Yeah, at what point have we complained that these guys are not getting on the glass? But we complain if Tatum's not getting assists. Mm-hmm. It's not fair. Those men have to do everything. And if you're not doing... how Chris has come on here and got on Kawhi for not being a playmaker, similar to his other peers in LeBron James and KD, right? When do we get on a guard for not rebounding? That's something they're not supposed to... But we look at a wing. If you're good, you're supposed to be able to do everything. Defend. Be in the passing lanes, get rebounds, play make, literally everything. So I'm taking that guy every single time because as the guards are a dime a dozen. If you're not elite, this is the thing about the guard position. If you're not elite, you're no better than the next man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much of them, and they all can shoot.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. As a center, if you're not elite, you're no better than the next man.
Nah, because fam, I can name 10 centers right now.
Okay, and then after that, it's few and far between a Daniel Tice and a Wendell Carter Jr.
But I feel like that's the same thing with
the wings.
The wings, yeah, the same.
Nah, because you have an OG. You have an OG who's way better than the replacement guy. You have a Bridges that's way better than the replacement guy.
Yeah, but those are specialty guys. You can find specialty big men as well.
Who?
Like, you can have a guy like Rashawn Holmes. You wouldn't necessarily name him off the top of your head, but he's a bucket. Like he's a guy that's going out there 60+%.
You probably can't name 7 better centers than him in the league right now.
Yes, I can. Off the top of my head, Bam, Goobs, Jokic, Vooch, AD, Embiid. That's 7.
Okay.
He might have got
I'll give
you
AD
there
still.
still.
No, you're right there. Because yeah, no, you got me. Because there's some you left out still. But again, I'm looking at a man like Rashawn Holmes. I hear you, right? I'm looking at a man like Rashawn Holmes, and let's keep it a buck. Mans don't rate him like that.
Definitely.
Is what I'm saying. Like he might not be a starter next year. I'd hope he is. He deserves to be one. But I think when I talk about value above replacement, what's the difference if you're not elite? A man like Eric Bledsoe could back you up. Ricky Rubio could back you up. Look at Ricky Rubio starting over D'Angelo Russell. I can make the argument right now that Rubio is better than D'Angelo Russell.
Wait, hold on. D'Angelo Russell's coming off the bench?
Yes.
But they're saying that it's because they want to work him back in.
Nah, that nigga's garbage.
Because he's shit.
That nigga's garbage.
It's because he's shit.
That nigga's
That's my point, man.
Even look at guys like Enes Kanter, specialty rebounder.
Nah, but that man gets cooked. Have you seen that man's plus minus?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like he has a specific skill that can help you depending on what team he's on.
But hold on, you're talking about a man that's a career backup. As good, we can watch Enes Kanter drop 20 and 20 in any night, and what will they do when Nurkic is healthy? Toss him out there to stink up the court. Man like Mikal Bridges, if he's on your team, he's playing. Facts. He's probably even playing the most minutes because you need him. OG, even those mans, we're gonna look at OG in a couple years and say, what point are you gonna put the ball on the floor?
He has been doing. He has been.
No, I know, but I'm saying,
like,
mans are asking for wings. I'm saying, mans are gonna ask for him to start doing those things. You being an elite defender and hitting shots when you're asked, getting dunks, is not enough if you're a wing.
It is. They are. I'm not even trying to argue that. Like, they are the most demanding. They have the most demanding position for sure, and it should be like that because their body is it's comparable as it's not big enough to where I can't say you shouldn't be able to dribble. They're in between still. Yeah, and you're not small enough where I can't ask you to defend. So by virtue, I want you to be able to do a little bit of everything, which is I feel like it comes with the territory, and we've seen it been done by so many players already. It's not like it's Jokic who's like far away the anomaly, like we've seen Bearmans be able to do it, so it's fair to me. You should be able to. If I draft a wing, I want you to be able to play in all facets of the game.
But that's the point, though.
That's why you're taking it first.
When you draft a guard, you're not worried about if this man's catching boards. You're literally not. If he is, and you know he is, it's a plus. But when have you ever seen a man get knocked for his lack of rebounding at the big? But if a man can't put the ball on the floor or passes or has no playmaking skills as a wing, they're gonna knock you.
Facts.
And so again, I'm not saying it's unfair. It is like I understand you're in between, so you're the guy that we can look to do everything. But that's why it's the most important. I don't think it's close.
Yeah,
because even Chris talking about Dorian Finney-Smith, if you put Dorian Finney-Smith's talent into a center, that man's not playing minutes. I promise you,
bro. The thing about it is like. Again, I'm choosing a wing as my number one starting position to build a team around because it's not hard. Like the wings win, especially recently. The wings win. It's what it's been, right? Larry Bird, Jordan, Kobe, right? LeBron. The wings win. That's all it is, man.
And even Kobe and like Mike aren't even like the traditional wing as we're talking about now because those mans were like 6'6", right? Like we're talking about the 6'8",
6'9", 6'10", maybe 6'11", 7 foot Kevin Durant. Like,
okay. Let's settle this. How tall do man think Kevin Durant is? Yeah. How tall is Kevin Durant?
KD 7 foot tall.
He's not 7 foot. He's not 7
foot.
He's
6'10",
7 foot tall, fam.
Yeah. He's not 7 feet.
I remember watching the Team USA. Remember
the
when
one
they had
picture
that
with DeMarcus Cousins, man?
When DeMarcus Cousins was 2 inches shorter than the man, fam.
I don't care. Care.
So what's DeMarcus, 6'9"? Come on,
nah,
bro.
But it could have been any type of angle. It could have been anything, bro. Like
it was a straight ahead shot. What are you talking about?
Man's can't just claim to one picture as to what his height is.
It was a straight ahead shot,
bro. I think he's the same height as Paul George, 6'10".
Paul George is not 6'10".
Oh, Paul George is 6'10".
Oh my!
Have you seen Paul George?
He's not listed 6'10" still.
He has to be 6'10".
Paul George is definitely not 6'10".
He's not listed 6'10".
He's definitely taller than
Like 6'8".
He's listed at 6'8" still.
Yeah, he's like 6'8". He's not taller than Bron, fam. No, he's not.
What's Bron listed at?
6'9", no?
Yeah.
I think that's cap still. I don't think he's 6'9". I think he's shorter than that. Not by a lot, but
Because
bro,
does Alex
man's bring you up
Pokusevsky
and
or
down when
whatever
they.
that guy's name look like a 7-footer? Because he's listed as 7 foot tall,
He looks 7 foot. He's
I
lanky
don't
as
know.
fuck.
That's a scrub, man. With that shit.
but he looks the same as KD,
Yo,
and he's not even a
yo,
scrub troll.
Miles
Like he
Brown
has bare
though.
promise.
Miles Brown looks like he's like 6 foot, 7'5" out there. Still, that man is.
Oh, Moses Brown.
A giant.
Moses
My.
he looks like he's 7'8" still.
The UCLA
yeah.
bust,
It's
bro.
because he's so lanky, bro. That's crazy.
Bro, like I was a 5-star prospect, went to UCLA with Jalen Hands, and completely ruined his draft stock. I didn't think he would ever see.
Where's Jalen Hands right now?
I don't know. It's probably overseas.
All right, so like.
No, that guy was supposed to go top 10.
That nigga was
sound like Jalen Hands. Sound like Moses.
No?
Sound like Moses ruined Jalen Hands' draft.
Yeah, like what?
I don't know if man's remember Rashad Vaughn and Christian Wood.
Jalen Hands top 10 prospect.
Fam, it was the same situation with Rashad Vaughn and Christian Wood, fam. Rashad Vaughn went first round, Christian Wood went undrafted, and tables turned quick.
Yeah, but we know what that Christian Wood told us he was an idiot, so that's unfair.
Self-reflection
came out of his
important.
mouth, fam. Came out of his mouth.
Self-awareness, fam.
It wasn't me. It
Most
was
important tool. Still,
he said it.
No, you're a goof. But let's move forward. We got one more topic we want to talk about. So, for those of you that don't know, unfortunately, LaMarcus Aldridge had to call it a quits. He retired due to, I think, health complications. He was having a heart murmur or irregular heartbeat. And I know this is something that's been plaguing him for a couple seasons now, because I remember one season the Spurs had shut him down a little bit earlier because of his heart condition. So I guess my question to you, or one of the questions that everybody's trying to figure out, is whether or not LaMarcus Aldridge can be considered a Hall of Famer. I'll let you guys start because I already built my case. So I'll let you guys start. Chris, what are you saying?
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Personally, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. But at the same time, it's like the Hall of Fame for the NBA is so weak that a 7-time All-Star, a guy that averages 19 and 10 for his career, may just get into the Hall of Fame. But for me, and I don't even want to say that that he's not a Hall of Famer to discredit anything that he's actually done. But yeah, I just don't see it because number one, he's never really been far into the playoffs. I know he had that. I think it was like a 2-year stretch where he was going on a binge in the first round of the playoffs. He got past once, I think. I think one year he was playing Houston and he fucked up Dwight Howard, fucked him straight, like put him over his knee and all, bro.
Pause.
But then after that, it was like that was it. Like he had that run and then that was it. And that's what I feel like LaMarcus is. Like LaMarcus is, I don't even think LaMarcus is the second best player on a championship team if you're actually going to win. And I'm talking about in his prime. Like he would have to be the third best player for me. Fam, but you've never seen it. Like for me to say that you're going to be the second best player, I at least have to see you go to a certain place and then lose. And then you just need that one more man. Like say Dwayne Wade never won a championship, right? But Dwayne Wade has always pushed the envelope, and now LeBron James pulls up. That's what I see as a second best player on a championship team. Not a man that is having first round glory, losing in the second round all the time, and now I expect you to push me there. Like, nah, I just never seen him.
So hold on, does that logic apply to AD as well? Because that's literally the AD story, no? You got to hold it to the same standard, fam.
But here's why though, because I can look at AD and I can say that AD is just a better talent than LaMarcus Aldridge in every respect. In every respect.
I don't think that's fair.
There's nothing LaMarcus does that's better than AD.
I don't think that's fair though, because at the time when he was important, he was arguably one of, if not the best big in the league.
Fam, were you gonna tell me that LaMarcus is a better post player? Oh
yes.
Fam, in terms of efficient buckets, I don't care how you get your points, bro. Efficiency, AD is probably better than him. I'm sure AD is a more efficient scorer than LaMarcus. So I don't care about your back to the basket.
I'll remember that one still.
Like are you getting the buckets? AD's getting the buckets same ways, if not more. So what? Now what? Like
I don't think it's fair though, because if you're gonna hold him to that standard, you gotta hold AD to that same standard. And yeah, you can talk about eye talent and this, that, but that wasn't what your argument was based on. It was based on performance, and neither of them performed as the number one option on their team. So how are you going to hold one to the fire and then spare the other? That doesn't make sense.
I told you how.
Because the talent? But your argument wasn't based on talent.
At the end, fam, no, I'm saying the argument for LaMarcus Aldridge in himself, if you're going to introduce if you're going to introduce another aspect of the argument now, I'm going to tell you why that's the case. That's what I'm saying. You brought up AD, and I'm telling you why I have AD in a different respect than LaMarcus Aldridge. That's why I'm telling you. And AD proved it. He proved it.
LaMarcus never got the chance to prove it. We can't argue against that.
Yeah,
He didn't
because he
get
was
a
never
bron.
good enough.
He
Because he
didn't
was
get a
never
bron.
good enough. Because he was never good enough.
I'm not gonna say he's not good enough because AD got
That's
bron.
why he was never
There's
good
no
enough.
better that he could have got paired up with.
This guy froze up, fam. See, lag out.
He was never good enough to play with the best player in the last 20 years.
Fam, great players want to play with great players.
So go.
Yo, I'm not gonna let mans ruin the argument like this, though. Yo, personally, LaMarcus Aldridge was very good for a very long time. Still, like he was a workhorse. Like he was giving you 37 minutes a night, and he were dumping the ball down to him mid range, everything. Like he was ridiculous. Like Hall of Fame, I don't know, and I personally don't care. He was a great player for a very long time. Still, there was a point. I think, like in 2010, like for the 2010s, there are very few players who had more points than him. And that says something because we have some serious mans that came through that era, and he's like top 10 in scoring in that era. So he was a great player. I feel it for him still because this was his chance to get a ring. Somehow he ended up with a starting position on that team, and he was playing very well, right? And he was looking like they were going to use him. They were going to give him a chance to do what he does best instead of parking him on the 3-point line. So I feel it for him still, but I'm happy he made his money, has his accolades, and he gets to retire relatively healthy. I just hope he enjoys his life after basketball still.
Yeah, same. I think it's gonna be, first of all, the Basketball Hall of Fame is very unpredictable because there's guys in there that don't deserve to be in there, and there's guys in there on the sidelines that are waiting to get in that might not get in. Like, I don't think LaMarcus gets in unless Chris Webber gets in. And Chris Webber's been begging to get in for a while now. Because I think if we're talking about the totality of their careers, start to finish, not only including the NBA, but also
Webber's
college.
Better still.
Yeah, Webber's better, right? So, and he hasn't got in. So I think Basketball Reference has it at a 51% chance he gets in. If he does get in, it's going to be because it's a weak class.
And that's fair. Like that's what I'm saying. 51%. That's fair. Like I wouldn't say that he's not a Hall of Fame. No, I wouldn't say that if he got in, I wouldn't be like this is egregious. But if you ask me, is he an Hall of Famer? I'm saying no.
But you have to also remember the Hall of Fame class goes by who retired, and then whoever retired waits 5 years, and then you're eligible. So if some of these quote unquote stars start letting it go, he might not see it in. Because there's guys right now that are going to get in before him. There's guys like Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace. There's a lot
better than Chauncey.
It can't be better than Chauncey. Chauncey has a Finals MVP and a ring.
Yeah, but
nah, we're not shrugging that off.
But that's going to get you in, though. That's going to get you in.
Regardless,
every Finals MVP is in the Hall of Fame. Right? Pretty sure still. Yeah. Everyone that's eligible, all of them that are eligible is in the Hall of Fame.
Like so you mean? So there's a long list of people ahead of him.
Yeah, but would you say that Chauncey was better than LaMarcus?
I think he had a greater height.
That's what I'm saying.
He had a greater height.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying is I don't think Chauncey was better than LaMarcus. That's
Chauncey is extremely overrated. Still.
He is, but I think he's also revered very highly in the basketball community.
Yeah,
that's fine.
He definitely is.
Yeah, and that's what's going to get him.
He's going to get in.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, that's what's going to get him in. Fact.
What do they have?
If there's a Finals MVP that doesn't get in, it's going to be Iggy. Still, it's not going to be Chauncey. I promise you that.
What do they have? Chauncey's. Let me look it up.
His Hall of Fame probability.
Yeah.
Let me check it.
I'm gonna look it up.
LA is great, man. He has some iconic performances. He was a part of that Portland Trailblazer team, which is one of my favorites of all time. I think, for me personally, if Wes Matthews doesn't tear his Achilles, it might be a different story for them. They might have been a lot better that year. I think he was playing with a torn ligament in his thumb that year. I don't know if mans remember. He had torn ligament in his thumb. He was supposed to get surgery,
and I said, "He was dropping 40 points a game."
Yeah, he is great still. So shout out to him. I hope, again, as I said, he enjoys post basketball.
I can't even.
Because they got Chauncey at 84%.
That man's in, bro.
He's in still.
Finals MVP are in.
He averaged 15 and 5 for a career, bro.
He also has a chip.
As I said, that man's overrated.
Like
I don't even.
what?
I don't even think is Ben. How much defensive player of the years has Ben Wallace have?
4.
Ben has like 3 of them.
4,
4.
fam.
Look at that. He's in. Like
Yeah, he's in.
He has to be, but that's what I'm saying. There's a long list of guys that are going to get in before him, and the longer you wait, the more people get ahead of you. They just keep jumping you, fam. Because when some of these stars start retiring, like yeah, like you know what I mean. When these stars start retiring, and then they wait the 5-year period, boom, you're gonna start seeing them flying, right? I'm not like Amari might get in before Marcus Aldridge.
but I think Amari was better though.
I don't. Yo, whether or not he was better, the consistent production, I feel like it's not even close. Though I feel like Stoudemire
the reason why I think
like
you'll get in
5 years.
The reason why I think you get in is because
he didn't only have 5 years.
Nah, he did. He did. He had like 5-6 years.
Stop that.
No. He definitely had about 5-6 years.
Yo,
I think the reason why Amari will get
I'm just
in.
going off what I think. I'm not saying that.
No, the same.
Amari,
the reason why. Go ahead.
Hold on. Before you go, right? Starting from 2003, the 2003 season, he dropped 20 a game. He had 1 year where he was injured and he only played 3 games, so scratch that. And then, so from 2003 down to 2012, he was never under 20 points a game.
That's cool, but I
So
think
how many years?
That's one.
Seven. So that's counted 7.
7 years. 7 years of 20 points a game scoring.
Yeah, okay, so that's 6. So
I think the reason why Amari will get in before LA is because I could tell the story of basketball without LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't think you could tell the story of basketball without Amari Stoudemire. He was part of.
I think they're the same thing.
Fam, he was part of a pivotal team and like a brand new offense. Fam, man's talking about that Suns
7
offense.
seconds or less. So
yeah, like that is a team. Like that's a historic team or a historic playing style.
That's a team that's on 2K.
Yeah,
none of those Portland teams are on 2K still.
I hear that still, but I feel like Amari had as much to do with that as guys like Sean Marion.
He might get in too. That's a reality.
No.
He might get in too. That's a reality, fam. If you're gonna let 2 in, you gotta let the third man in still. That's how Draymond's gonna get in still. Low key.
No. You can't compare a man like Draymond to Sean Marion still. Yo, man's relaxed. This is why man's cheesing me, because you're gonna have me out here caping for Draymond after he was doing that bullshit last night. I don't want to do it, but don't make me do it.
Go look at Sean Marion's numbers and tell me Sean Marion's not
4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. Draymond can't say that.
Tell me that. Tell me that
Sean
right
Marion
now.
has one championship, fam.
Search,
and he was a side
search
piece.
Sean Marion's numbers, fam. We'll give you time to search his numbers and just look at those numbers and tell me that he's not better than Draymond.
Yo, if I ask you how many all defensive appearances does Sean Marion have, how much would you say?
Well, I can't answer.
Probably
I already
1.
looked at the things. Though.
What? How much would you say?
I'd say 1.
He has none. Not 1.
But how
he
much
has no chance compared to Draymond?
2 All-NBAs and 4
How much does Draymond have? Probably none, a lie.
Draymond has 2 All-NBAs. Hold on.
He has 2
All-NBAs. 5-time All-Defensive, Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time NBA champ, 3-time All-Star, NBA Steals champion. Come on, fam. Like, it's not even close.
I guess.
There's no question.
Yeah.
Mats can talk numbers.
We can go into a deeper debate on that one still. Because, yo, fam, Sean Marion was a bucket getter, bro. He got buckets, fam. And he played defense.
The Matrix.
Maybe not at the level as Draymond, but
he has 1 championship, fam.
Yeah, but Sean Marion would have more championship if he had KD, Steph Curry, and
Bro,
Klay
if
Thompson.
someone didn't break Steve Nash's nose, he would have had a chip.
We actually know that.
They were never winning a chip still.
What? The year that they broke his nose against the Spurs, they would have definitely had a chip.
Fam, you're broken nose man's playoff that
week.
No,
I think the problem. The problem is that fight that happened.
Exactly. Amari got suspended.
Yeah, Bearman's got suspended in Game 7 of all things, bro. In Game 7 of all things, and I think they were one of the best teams that year.
Yeah.
I think they were like 2nd or 1st in the West that year.
Yeah,
and then that shit happened, and that's crazy. Still, they're a huge what if team for sure. Still,
but just to sum things up, like I think LaMarcus Aldridge, I don't think he's making the Hall of Fame anytime soon. I think it's gonna come a point if he doesn't make it in the next 5 years, he's not gonna make it because there's gonna be too many mans that are just gonna jump him on the list. Great player, but
Marcus
it is what it is.
Hall of Famer still. Like, just because you drop 20 a night doesn't automatically get you a slot in the Hall of Fame in my books, though. Like, the Hall of Fame has to start meaning something, is what they need to figure
Too
out.
late
It
for
has
that
to
still.
man's like
The,
Chauncey
the
Billups
entire
shouldn't be getting in just
1960s,
because you have a one thing, bro.
the entire 1950s Boston team is in that shit. It's too late
No
still.
lie.
Is that actually fact?
They all have the water boy
whole
in that.
team?
They have the water boy in that, fam. Huh? Fam, the teams, the coaches, the water boys, it's a mud team.
Because it's just a shame because like every other, like, I don't know about hockey, but the football Hall of Fame, it's a real Hall of Fame. The baseball Hall of Fame, that's a Hall of Fame, fam. Like, it's not the Hall of Very Good. The NBA is the Hall of Very Good. Like, as long as you're very good, they're slotting you in, and it's a shame, bro, because it dilutes the sport.
Well, we say
It
that, but
truly
again,
does.
Chris Webber is on the sidelines, fam.
Yeah, but nah, fam. I don't know, bro. Chris Webber's omission isn't enough for me. It's not enough for me, still.
He's
A
part
man
of
like
the...
Lowry, what do you guys think about that?
Nah, he's not making that. Come on.
If Chauncey Billups is a Hall of Famer, so is Kyle Lowry. What's the difference?
One has a Finals MVP.
The
Oh,
finals
fuck my
MVP,
dick
man.
with the Finals MVP.
What are you talking
man.
about,
You're
fam? You're
moving-
moving like that's not the be all end all, fam.
yeah.
That's literally the be all
nigga.
end all. When it's
The
that
Finals
settles,
Yo,
MVP
Rob.
can't be the thing that you talk about
fam,
every
that when the
Rob.
dust settles, that's
Rob,
the be all
yo,
end all.
Rob.
What are we talking about here?
Rob,
Give me
the man's
something
moving like-
else, bro.
the man's moving like we're advocating like this is right. We're not telling you this is right. We're saying this is what it is.
Exactly.
Fam, give me
I'm not
something
telling you.
else, fam.
Fam.
You're talking to the wrong people.
Oh,
Facts.
man.
Iggy's in
Every
the Hall
time
of
I talk
Fame.
about Chauncey, the one argument is Finals MVP.
Because he has it.
Alright,
It's not an argument. It's a fact. Like, yo,
What the fuck are you arguing?
you're telling me Chauncey's gonna be
That's
the one
what's
to miss
stressing
out?
me still.
Bro, the thing about it, the reality is outside of Toronto, mans don't really rate Kyle Lowry like that. He to
Fam.
us he means a lot, but to the grand scheme of the NBA, he's just an above average point guard that made the All-Star games a couple times.
A couple times
You're
he
right.
made it more than Chauncey.
Joe Johnson made it 7 times too.
Yo,
Is he getting in the Hall of Fame?
Nah,
Come on.
not living that.
Come
Joe
on.
Johnson is better than Chauncey. Yo, Chauncey sucks, man.
Yo,
Like,
I
Chauncey
agree.
is shit. He
I
averaged
agree.
15 on 41% from the field, fam. That is
Yo,
garbage,
Chauncey's
fam. That is garbage.
That's shit.
It's shit,
I
but he's
agree.
gonna get in, fam.
Like,
It's
bruh.
sad. Man like Joe Johnson's not getting in.
Same way D Rose is making it in because he has the MVP.
Nah, I don't know about that one, kid. I don't know
Nah,
about that
D-Rose
one.
So
getting
see,
in.
now you're
I don't know about
going in. You're going in. How can an MVP not make it? I'm pretty sure every MVP has made the Hall of Fame.
Every MVP has made the Hall of Fame.
So why are you telling me about a man that had a good 6 games at the end of the year, and now he gets it off the strength of that one series? Come on, bro.
6 games. Who are you talking about?
Chauncey Billups.
Oh, yo, fam. This guy's moving. Rob's gave you the probability. It's 84%. Who are you arguing right now?
So let me
Address the people.
Let me look
Don't
at
address me still.
Kalo's probability.
Kalo's probably
Just the
like
people,
40 some
not me,
percent
fam.
still.
Hell no, fam.
Yeah.
There's no way
He's
he's
not
at
above
47%.
Aldridge. He's not above Aldridge, so.
That he probably is. Kyle Lowry.
No.
Let me look it up.
Yo,
'Cause he has
the
a
thing about
championship.
Lowry-
Don't forget that.
The thing about Lowry is like he started producing very late in his career still, as opposed
Same
to
thing with
like, other
Chauncey.
men.
Yo, he's at
That's
86%.
literally the same thing with
still.
Chauncey,
Yo.
bro.
86? Lowry.
All right.
Lowry?
All right.
86,
Above
though.
Chauncey, above Chauncey blood clot Billups. Son. What are you guys talking about?
They're
Like,
both
that
in.
nigga is shit.
Shout out,
Bro.
still.
Rest my case. Shout out Kalo. Keep building, fam. Can only go up from here, bro. It's
That's
only
actually
climbing.
crazy.
I didn't know
I'd
that.
love to
still.
hear the rationale on that one. Still.
He's probably a lot of the franchise
I feel like
leaders.
Lowry.
Fam, he's a 6-time All-Star.
Yeah,
He's
that's
a
true. Still.
champion.
That's true.
He's the greatest
I
rapper
get that
ever.
still. But yo,
still.
a man like Chris Webber's not leading the.
The Kings?
Yeah, facts.
He probably is, but
yeah,
yo,
like he's
I
not
don't
up
know.
there in the Kings record.
I don't care, fam. 6-time All-Star champion. And the intangibles within Kyle Lowry, different. Don't tell me about Mr. Big Shot.
But yo,
Well, he has that name for a
the
reason.
intangibles is what is all man's talked about with Chauncey. That's all man's talked about with Chauncey.
He can't
That's
go there
literally all they
15
talk about.
points on
Oh
41%.
no. Yo, they
for
got
a
Chris
career.
Webber's Hall of Fame probability at 14.6%.
Yeah, because it's diminishing now,
I think
fam.
because the years passed now.
Yeah, the years are passing and by now.
But
Still.
yo, Chris. Kyle Lowry's career is 15 points a game, 6 assists, 4.5 rebounds,
That's more than Chauncey.
and 42% from the field. He's not far off still.
That's better than Chauncey.
I know. I'm just saying it's not far off still. That's probably why they're so close in probability.
I don't know,
Wrap
man.
this up, Ross.
Man's gonna dig into every player ever played. But yeah, nonetheless, man, it was a good little combo. Hopefully, LMA does make it into a Hall of Fame. I don't want to talk bad on him and put it on the air that he doesn't, but I just don't think he will. But nonetheless, It's the Hardwood Report, available every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on all streaming platforms, YouTube, TikTok. Subscribe, raise the engagement, man. We really need it. It helps out the pod a lot. Cooking on some stuff, hopefully to come out in the next couple weeks. So you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you share this to whoever's willing to listen. Never hoard a good thing, because at the end of the day, it's not your content to hoard, man. Give it out. Put it out there. Help us spread the message. You guys have anything you want to say before you get out of here, Kev or Chris?
Nah, shout out Aldridge one more time. Still, like, terrible way to end your career, but man made it out relatively healthy and alive still. So that's good in itself. So
Facts. What you Chris?
And let's stop letting this nigga Jake Paul finesse cash out of niggas by fighting scrubs. Like, come on. Like, Nate Robinson and then that dad, whoever.
Wasn't that his brother?
The dad?
Broski.
Askren or whatever.
We are to blame still. I had never heard that guy's name in my life.
Bro, but that's what I'm saying. And he's getting millions of dollars for fighting amateur fights. Like, we're getting swindled.
Doesn't that man have like a sexual assault case on it?
Jake Paul?
One of them does.
I don't know. It's Logan and Drake. I don't know which is which. They look the same. So
yeah, well, they're brothers.
Nah, they dead ass look the same though. Like
they look the same. So I don't know which is which. But let's not let them swindle mans, bro. They were talking millions of dollars on amateur boxing fights. This is ridiculous.
But what boxing fight hasn't had the M's talk involved?
Fam, regular mans that are doing it for a career can't get M's on a paper.
Is it televised?
But that's life, bro. That's life still.
Fam, any televised boxing match has the M's involved. That's the way I look at it.
Fam, nah, there's no way, bro. I'm pretty sure Jake Paul right now has made probably more than 60% of the pool. I can assure you of that.
Fam, as I said again, any televised boxing match is all about the M's. I've never seen a boxing match on TV without the M's.
You're talking pay-per-views a lot?
Yeah.
I'm talking pay-per-view.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Nah, I assume Jake Paul's making more than most of those undercard men.
Probably is.
Jake Paul's making more than
probably is.
What? We hold the power in that situation still.
Yeah, some just want the people to unite still. That's it. Just stop getting swindled. That's all.
So, but are we going to finesse a man out? Are we going to complain about a man getting his check?
Never.
If he's finessing the public.
Can't be finessing if you're clicking the subscribe and pay-per-view buttons. So
I'm not. I'm doing it on a freebie. I can't even say that. I didn't even watch last night because I'm like,
I
have
no
interest.
Remember, the man streaming don't contribute to his earnings. It's the man's clicking the pay-per-view button.
It's a millennial, bro. It's a millennial still stealing your mom's credit card number.
Low key, that streaming is why the NBA's ratings have been down. I found alternative ways to do that shit.
But that's their problem because how about you put out a product that's actually worth it? You can't tell me that I'm paying for a League Pass. I was a League Pass membership member.
Same.
And then I booted up on a Thursday and I can't get no game.
I think it's a Canadian issue with that one specifically.
I'm buying League Pass because I don't have cable, fam. And then you're telling me I can't watch, fam. The MLB,
I buy League Pass because I want to watch basketball still.
Fam, the MLB one, that app, it doesn't matter. You're getting if it's on TV or not, you're getting the thing, fam. There's no blackouts.
Fam, I'm finna cop a VPN and change my IP address and see if the League Pass is better. Because NBA TV didn't even work on that. No man booked that, that they said NBA TV was involved and you can never watch it.
Oh yeah. I'm just not gonna buy it. Still, there are alternative methods.
Yeah, beer alternative.
I'm bootlegging straight.
Gotta pop.
There are alternative methods.
Anyways, though, we will be back to you guys next week. Same time, Mondays 8 a.m. Make sure you listen, raise that engagement. But until next time, it is the Hardwood Report. Take care.